So our today's topic is monocot embryo. Yesterday we did dicot embryo. So embryos
Yes,
of
ma'am.
monocot. Now the major difference between monocot and dicot is that monocots they possess only one cotyledon. Possess only one cotyledon, and they have a structure which is called scutellum. Now scutellum is the cotyledon of grass family. Grass is monocot that is situated towards the lateral side of the embryonal axis. Then there is another structure which is called coleorhiza. This coleorhiza is the undifferentiated sheet which enclose root cap and radicle. Root cap and radicle at the lower end of the embryonal axis. That means this undifferentiated sheet is present at the lower end of the embryonal axis, and this is enclosing root cap and radicle. The next structure is apicotyle. Apicotyle is the portion of the embryonal axis which is above the attachment of scutellum. The portion of the embryonal axis above the attachment of scutellum. That is the apicotyle. Then the another structure which is present in monocot embryo is coleoptile. Now coleoptile is a hollow structure which is called foliar structure. Why foliar structure? Because it is having leaf primordia in it. It is enclosing leaf primordia. What is leaf primordia? The structure which is going to be the future leaf. That structure is called leaf primordia. Now let me show you the diagram. So this is the LS is longitudinal section of an embryo of grass. Grass is monocot. So this is a typical monocot embryo. Now what structures we have discussed are scutellum. This is the scutellum, lateral side, separate lateral side. Then we have discussed coleoptile. Coleoptile is enclosing the shoot apex and the leaf primordia. So this is the hollow follicle structure, foliar structure. And here it is the coleorhiza, which is the lower portion, which is enclosing radicle and root cap. Clear? So this is the shoot apex. Like in, just see this. This was the dicot embryo. In dicot embryo, apicotyle and hypocotyle. Apicotyle is having the plumule and hypocotyle is having the radicle and root cap. In case of monocots, the coleoptile is having the shoot apex and the leaf primordia, whereas coleorhiza are having the radicle and the root cap. Here the terminology is different. Now, what I was telling you, the frequently asked question is difference between dicot embryo and monocot embryo. So in that you have to draw these two diagrams and differentiate them. That is very important diagram, a very important question. Differentiate between dicot embryo and monocot embryo. See,
Yes, ma'am.
basically, what are the structures? The structures are only two: the embryonal axis and the cotyledons. The embryonal axis is having this; these are the cotyledons. In case of dicot, these are the two cotyledons, and the axis is having what? Epicotyle and hypocotyle. Hypocotyle is a hollow cylindrical structure which is terminating into radicle and root cap, and plumule is having the portion of the epicotyle. So epicotyle and hypocotyle are basically the parts of embryonal axis. In case of monocots, the epicotyle and hypocotyle terminology is different. Here it is called coleoptile. In coleoptile means it is enclosing the shoot apex and the leaf primordia, and the coleorhiza is enclosing radicle and root cap.
Ma'am, in this diagram, where is the epicotyle situated?
This epiblast is written, no?
Yes, ma'am.
This is actually, if you compare with the dicot embryo, where is epicotyle present? This is epicotyle, which is terminating into plumule. And what is plumule? Plumule is a portion of the seed or embryo which give rise to shoot. So here also it is the same. This is the epicotyle, and the portion of epicotyle is the plumule. Actually, this is what? This is plumule, because this is going to give rise the shoot. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
But here it is called coleoptile. And there the hypocotyle was present, and which is giving rise to root cap and radicle. Here it is coleorhiza, which is enclosing radicle and cap.
Root cap.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Epiblast is the portion of epicotyle only. This portion is giving rise to this. It is terminating into this portion. Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
This portion is giving rise to shoot. That means plumule. And this shoot is enclosed by a membrane which is called coleoptile. So this is a coleoptile portion which is enclosing the shoot apex, and coleorhiza is enclosing the root apex, that is the root cap and the radicle. And this is the embryonal axis. This whole is the embryonal axis. The upper portion is epicotyle and lower is hypocotyle. Here the hypocotyle and epicotyle are not labeled, because here they are called, they have given the different terminology, coleoptile and coleorhiza. Clear?
Okay, ma'am.
And there is another structure which is called scutellum. Scutellum is the cotyledon.
Yes, ma'am.
Just see this. Embryos of monocotyledons possess only one cotyledon. In the grass family, the cotyledon is called scutellum. That is situated towards one side, lateral side of the embryonal axis. At its lower end, the embryonal axis is radicle and root cap, enclosed in an undifferentiated sheet which is called coleorhiza. The portion of the embryonal axis above the level of attachment of scutellum is the epicotyle. Epicotyle has a shoot apex and a few leaf primordia. Primordia means the primary structure. That means the structure which are going to be future leaf. enclosed in a hollow foliar structure. Foliar is leaf-like structure. Now, ultimately, what are we getting after the sexual reproduction? The whole chapter which we have studied about the sexual reproduction. What is the final product? The final product is seed. So, seed is the final product of sexual reproduction. Seed is the final product of sexual reproduction. Now, this seed is often described as fertilized ovule. Can anyone tell me why? Why is it called fertilized ovule?
मैम बिकॉज ये ओव्यूल के फर्टिलाइजेशन के बाद में बनता है.
हाँ, because the female gamete is present in the ovule, that is egg, and the egg is fertilized inside the embryo sac, and after fertilization, the zygote is also developing inside the ovule, and ovule is getting converted into seed. That's why ovule, the seed is often described as fertilized ovule. Because ovule is getting converted into seed and ovary is getting converted into fruit. And where are this fertilized ovule present? They are present in inside the fruit. So they are formed inside the fruits. Now, if we see the structure of the seed, it is typically consisting of three things. One is seed coat, that is the outermost covering. Now, this covering can be single covering or it can be of multiple layers. That's why I put S also. It can be seed coat or it can be seed coats. The second is cotyledon. Cotyledon is what? The structure which is having reserve food material for the seed, the embryo. And this cotyledon also can be one, it can be two. If it is one, the seed is called monocot. If it is two, it is called dicot. And this cotyledon is the reserve food material for the embryo inside the seed. The third thing which is present inside the seed, which is very important, which is giving rise to the future plant, is called embryo. So seed is consisting of seed coat, that is the outermost covering. Then cotyledon, the reserve food material for the embryo, and the embryo. These three things are present inside the seeds. Now, depending upon the residual endosperm, like yesterday we had discussed that in some seeds, the endosperm is still present inside the seeds, whereas in some, the endosperm is completely finished by the developing embryo. So in mature seed, you will not find any residual endosperm. So based on the presence or absence of the residual endosperm, the seeds are divided into two types: non-albuminous seeds and albuminous seeds. Non-albuminous seeds are the seeds which have no residual endosperm in mature seed. That means all the endosperm which was present in the ovule was finished by the developing embryo. So in a mature seed, there is no residual endosperm present. And these type of seeds are called non-albuminous seeds. Example of non-albuminous seeds are groundnut, peanut. Yesterday we had seen these are the examples where the endosperm is completely finished by the developing embryo, and in mature seed we don't find any endosperm. Now there are another type of seeds which are called albuminous seeds. These are the seeds which have retained, that means they are still having certain part of the endosperm. That means the developing embryo has not finished all the endosperm, but it is still having certain part of the endosperm in mature seed. And these type of seeds are called albuminous seeds. So based on the presence or absence of the residual endosperm in mature seed, the seeds can be divided into two, non-albuminous and albuminous. Example of albuminous seeds are wheat, maize, barley, castor, etc. So these are the seeds which have retained certain part of the endosperm in mature seed. Now you will come across another new term in this topic, that is perisperm. What is perisperm? Do you remember nucellus? Nucellus,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
कहाँ
ma'am.
था?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we have studied nucellus when we were discussing megasporogenesis.
Megasporogenesis.
It is
Yes.
present in the embryo sac. So in some of the seeds, some nucellus is still present inside the seed. So this residual means bacha hua, the leftover. This residual persistent nucellus in seeds is called perisperm. So this is another term, and there are certain seeds which still persist in mature seed. They still persist the residual nucellus. Some of the nucellus, leftover nucellus is present in the seed, and that is called perisperm. Example, black pepper, beet.
Wheat.
These are the examples of seeds which have perisperm. Seeds which have perisperm.
Perisperm.
This is which type of seed?
Dicot.
Dicotyledon.
Dicot, because it is having two cotyledons. You can just take a bean, kidney bean, or chana, kabuli chana, soak it, and then you can see the two cotyledons. वो separate हो जाते हैं ना चने के.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is the external seed coat is called testa. What is elum? Elum, you remember? We have studied elum.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The portion where the ovule is attached to the ovary. Ovule is attached to the ovary. That is elum. So this is the portion. This portion. Then inside there is embryo. Now this embryo is having what? Epicotyle. Epicotyle is giving rise to shoot. And hypocotyle is giving rise to, this is hypocotyle. Hypocotyle is giving rise to root. This is the embryo. This is the embryo, and these are two cotyledons. Two cotyledons, and this is the embryo. In dicot embryo, this epicotyle is giving rise to shoot, and this hypocotyle is giving rise to root. Plumule is what? Plumule is the stem tip, and radicle is the root tip. So radicle is giving rise to have you seen how the seed germinates? You must have done this experiment in lower classes, and if not, what you can do is just soak few kidney beans or chana today overnight, and morning you just take it out and keep it in a moist cotton. अंकुरित देखते हो ना आप sprouted मूंग.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, so उसको अगर when you study that sprouted beans, you can see these structures. You can see plumule and radicle. So plumule is the structure which is the future stem or the future shoot, and radicle is future root. And these are the cotyledons which contain the reserve food material for this embryo. Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
This is monocot. This for which seed is this? Maize.
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 Maca is what? Monocot. So here you can see this is the seed. These are the seed coat, and this is the endosperm, and this is the layer. And here you can find the embryo. Now you will find the chlorhiza, root cap, radicle, then plumule, that is, and this is sheathing leaves. What is this sheathing leaves? Leaf primordia. And this leaf primordia, and this is the foliar structure, coleoptile. And this is one cotyledon. Here only one cotyledon is present. This is the cotyledon. And here it is the testa and pericarp. Pericarp is the outermost layer. This we will study. So testa is the covering, and this is fused pericarp and testa.
Yes, ma'am.